up, everybody? Welcome back into episode 4 of the Ship's Log. Today we are here with veteran returner Deontay Johnson and Coach Mike Houston. Coach, I'm not going to lie, when you were recruiting me here, I never thought that I'd be sitting down doing a podcast with you. But I guess that's a credit to the relationship that we have and kind of how far we've come. Usually we start this thing off with a little pirate scenario, have a little fun, stimulate the brain a little bit. And today's a good one. You have reached the final challenge on your hunt for hidden treasure. You're on a remote island, and what lays ahead is a mystery. The uncertain path ahead is filled with challenges that will test your wit, brawn, and nimbleness. Choose 2 players on the team to join you on this adventure. You'll need brains, street smarts, strength, and agility to combat the unknown of what lays ahead. This is tough. 2? Yeah, you need 2, and it got to be kind of a complete package. I've got kind of 2 in my head.
We need brains?
You need brains, agility, strength.
I'll go Omar. Omar got that.
All right, so that's Omar, one for you.
Ooh.
Don't forget your own kind down in the trenches.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
Because right off the bat, my first thing is, okay, either Dustin Hall or Surad Ware. You see the Surad coming in with the camo, talking about going hunting and stuff.
Yeah. I know he good, yeah.
He's agile, he's strong.
But you said brains.
Dustin's talking about going to the FBI after football.
Sue smart, don't get me wrong. Sue smart, but Omar, like, he go think next level.
But you need 2.
So I go Omar and Sue then.
You're going Omar and Sue?
Yeah.
It's a good combo.
And Sue light on his feet.
You're gonna go a skill and a big.
Yes.
Coach, what are you thinking on this?
See, one, I think I've got to take my guy here.
Big Tay.
Respect.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to move some boulders.
And there's no doubt. And you never know. You might run into some natives, some savages or something. So I got to have some guys that can fight.
Big Tay will come in the locker room with that camo too.
No doubt.
Talking about going hunting after the workouts.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, if anybody's been to Dinwiddie,
the county,
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be resourceful.
You got one more.
You ain't got no choice.
Well, I mean, I think I got to take Lump on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, Dustin Hall.
Yeah.
You know, because he's old guy, savvy vet.
Yes.
Yes. Knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable. Also, not afraid to, you know.
He'll get dirty.
Stick his nose in there,
He'll do some dirty stuff. So, I mean, I think we're up against any challenge we might meet with those 2.
Coach is rolling with 2 bigs right off the bat. That is kind of reminds me of last summer when we were doing kind of the Swolympics.
Yeah, the relay stuff.
And then we also did the winter training challenges. We'd have to pick teams, and I was one of the guys that had to pick the team, and my whole thing was I would just pick mids the whole way because they could do the strength and they could do the speed. Yeah.
I like it.
But right off the bat, I think I'm not going to take anyone you guys took. I think Dustin and Sue were definitely on my board. I'm going to go J.D. Lampley.
Psycho.
Yeah. He's one of the hammerheads in the group. I'm going JD. I think he's got a good mix of everything there. I don't know how he is in the classroom. Maybe we'll have to tutor him. Other than that, let's see. If I'm going 2 mids, my next pick would probably be Shane Calhoun.
I was about to Shane Calhoun.
Yeah. Shane's like
a
biology, biomed something.
He's got some high-level intelligence.
I let him slip my mind.
Yeah. Squat day to day.
Yeah.
That's Shane right there. Yeah, he can move some boulders too now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd probably go Shane and JD if I was going with my mid picks.
That's valid.
But now let's kind of move into what's happening now with the program and stuff. It's signing day here, Coach. Usually a big day, obviously with the landscape of college football and stuff. And now there's 2 signing days.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed a little bit. You got 34 signings since last year, 14 on defense, 20 on offense. Tell us kind of a little bit about what to expect and kind of what you were looking for when you were signing new kids.
Well, I mean, everything's changed. I mean, even the first signing day has changed. You know, with just with the transfer portal and, you know, so many guys just, you know, out there looking for homes. It's a balance of, you know, transfers and high school players.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think now, and we were talking about this a little bit before, I think we're signing probably a higher level of talent in our high school recruits that we're signing.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many players that are looking for homes. I mean, literally, we have some kids that are going to walk on for us this year that 3 years ago would be scholarship level players.
Yeah.
So that whole dynamic with high school recruiting has changed. And then, the ability to address immediate needs through the transfer portal, that's changed. So I'm excited about the additions that we're bringing into the program, but I'm probably more excited about our returning players that we have coming back from last year.
Yeah.
And, we did have some youth last year on the offensive side of the ball. We have some pretty experienced guys coming back on defense, but I think, the challenge, but two, the exciting thing is going to be meshing, these 34 plus, because by the time you bring the preferred walk-ons in, you're going to be over 40.
Yeah.
This group and meshing them with our returning players, I'm really excited about our roster as we sit here today. I mean, I think we have a great opportunity to have a pretty special season next year.
Right. And I kind of had this question lined up down the road, but you just kind of mentioned it. Both of you guys, because you've been here for a while, Big Tay, you guys definitely, obviously, you coach, changed the culture and had to kind of rebuild from when you showed up completely.
Sure.
I showed up definitely on the later half of it and did my best to feed into it and fit in with it and help kind of carry it along while I was there. But, like, what's important maybe from coaches and your position in the locker room with integrating this? Like, how do you approach that and just what do you do for that?
Just in the locker room, you got to make sure everybody on the same page. Just you want to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Right.
And if everybody not on the same page, they're either going to weave their way out or they're going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
So it's basically just introducing the culture. Well, I feel like I can just show it, then
you lead by example.
Everybody just see the right thing. But that's all it is, just doing the right thing and hoping everybody else follow along.
Yeah, I feel like just in my 2 seasons here, whatever it was, it's really kind of a adapt or die kind of situation,
Yeah, facts.
which is great.
Yep.
And that's honestly probably exactly what you're aiming for. When you have a good core in that locker room, that's what's going to drive your program.
Right.
I mean, we saw it last year. We struggled. We didn't have a season any of us wanted.
Facts.
But we're going in there the last week of the season or Thanksgiving week, and the bowl game's already out of the question.
Yeah.
But we're still going out there on a Tuesday practice, having fun, flying around. And so that speaks volumes to where you guys took it, and kind of like the team we had last year. Coach, do you have anything kind of hit on with introducing these new guys into that?
Well, I think, Tay really hit on what I would want and what I think we have. And so I think you're really leaning on those core veteran guys that have been here in the program and have established the standard as far as work ethic and loyalty and trust and commitment to each other. I mean, those traits, they're not just words in our locker room.
Right.
They're not just you
Real
can't walk into that weight room down there and go through the workouts that we go through and not be all in. The guys, Tay said it perfectly. It's adapt or die. If a guy is not committed to this team,
He's gonna get
it's
out.
going to show this winter and this spring, and he probably won't make it till May.
Weave it out.
The positive is, going through, the next, several months is going to really bond our players. And, one thing that we have talked about as coaches, and it's the reason we've kind of changed up what we were talking about earlier about how we're doing winter, is, we've got to do as many things as we can, over the spring and the summer to develop, strong relationships between the new players, the new coaches, all of us together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be, that's the one thing that held us together last year. Through our struggles was that bond that we had as a program. And so now the challenge is, taking the influx of new players and creating that same bond again this spring and summer.
Yeah, and I think that's an issue that every program in America is having at this point, incorporating just kind of the new ways of college football. I ran into you at church this past weekend, and you said it was your first time off really you've had this whole year. I know I was in probably the first real transfer portal class that kind of started 2 years ago, and you used to have a nice little break after the bowl game and in that winter session where you probably have a week off to go kind of unwind and get ready. But now with the way things are going, you're nonstop recruiting, looking
Right
always
back
for
to
what's
it.
next. For kind of just the people that listen to this that don't know, tell them a little bit about like recruiting and when you sign these guys, how it starts from your point of view. We've talked to some of the new freshmen about their recruiting process and stuff, but you guys really never stop. Like bye week, mid-season, you're still
Right.
going out to see guys. So how does it kind of start for you and progress to today at signing day?
Well, I think it's never ending now, because there's two different recruiting cycles. There's the high school recruiting cycle, which right now we're working mainly on 2025s.
Yeah.
We had Junior Day a couple of weeks ago, had, 60 of the top players on the East Coast here. We've got another Junior Day during spring practice. We'll have official visits this summer. By the time we get to August, we'll have a pretty solid class of high school players committed. So that cycle goes all throughout the spring and summer and throughout the fall and then heavy in December. But then the transfer recruiting cycle, it's all during that Christmas break, the beginning of January, on up into a couple of weeks after school starts.
Yeah.
It'll be all throughout the spring. You will have another heavy dose of it
Summer.
in the first part of the summer, end of spring. And so the combination of the two cycles, they overlap so much that they don't leave there's no breaks throughout the year.
Right.
And so it's just really changed the dynamics of your job as a college football coach when it comes to, building your roster.
Yeah. You kind of broke it down there talking about transfers from other colleges, high school recruits, talking about our own guys that we kind of signed today or brought in the wintermester. If you had to predict Pirate Nation's favorite offensive and defensive standout from the respective classes, who would it be?
That's going to be challenging. The young guys, it may be a while. Some of the young guys may play. Some of the young guys may redshirt. You never know about high school kids because it's hard to predict how fast they will acclimate to a college atmosphere, college practices, playing. That's a lot different playing in that stadium in front of 50,000 people.
Definitely.
You're coming from a high school playing in front of 3,000.
That on top of school and weights and homework and tutoring and getting to your meals.
Treatment.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so I'd be, if you start talking about these high school players, you're going to leave out, a really, really good player. So you got to be very, very careful. I think you have to acknowledge, we did sign the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Kentucky in Cole Hodge. I mean, you
Absolutely.
can't ignore a guy that comes in with that kind of. I mean, he was the MVP of the state championship game. They went undefeated, won the state championship, and he's obviously a big signee for us.
Yeah, I actually hosted him and his brother when they came on their official. It was in the summer, right? It was right before the season, and that kid is just super composed. Definitely, you could tell he's all about ball.
Yeah.
You kind of had to break him down a little bit, get him to relax and open up, but you could just tell he was focused, driven. We went bowling, and he was like, "How many push-ups you want to put on this game?" And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay, man. But I mean, you don't know that I'm really a bowler, so we could do that." But definitely a good kid, great family, competitor, and like you said, that was all those accolades that he got were after the official, after he had committed.
Yeah.
So it's just like his stock was rising when he was already committed. It was great to see.
Down with us. Yeah.
I mean, he had there were a lot of schools that came after him, late in the recruiting cycle, and he stayed firm with East Carolina. In fact, I think he was instrumental into keeping our signing class together.
Yeah.
He did a real good job, especially with the offensive players.
And that's what you want to see out of a quarterback.
No doubt. He has some traits that remind you of a guy we had a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so, that's pretty exciting too.
And one of those guys that I'm sure he kind of helped keep along, we were talking about before the show started, Yannick Smith.
Yeah.
Now, what is it, the highest rated recruit in program history?
Yeah. So whatever that means.
Yeah. Nothing until he comes here and balls out. But
Sure.
Yannick he's had a great career there at Summerville High School, just north of Charleston, South Carolina. Not only as a football player, but he was the Player of the Year in the state of South Carolina last year in basketball, and he's probably going to be the Player of the Year in the state of South Carolina again this year.
Yeah.
I think they're ranked second in the state, and he's. The game I went and saw, he had 26. I mean,
Sheesh.
Hooper.
He is legit now.
Moving on to the defensive side of the ball for kind of high school guys, on the visit that we all hosted, KJ Morrell was there. I saw some clips of him from high school. Definitely a stud. Who is it? Shai Thompson that we've already talked with on the podcast. Just looks like a freak athlete,
no doubt.
And those guys are already here, so they're already getting kind of adapted to everything that we have to offer.
Head start.
So anything to say on that?
I think those guys. But I mean, again, you're going to leave somebody out and you start mentioning people. But Jamarlee Riddle and Demarius Hines, 2 safeties from the state of Georgia. Again, you never want to put too much pressure on a kid, but I mean, they're pretty high-end athletes, and both of them are very dynamic playmakers. So, yeah.
And then moving into the transfers, obviously, it seems like you went into the portal with kind of some goals, and I think you aced that. Obviously, you went back to California, kid. So I guess I did something right because when I came in, I kind of was catching some strays every once in a while from being from California. But we added 2 more now.
Yeah, but you're straight West Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, at least these guys have been on the East Coast a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could, But, I mean, we'll just talk about the home state. I think I brought the fact that we could get some more California kids over
Cali
here.
swag.
Yeah, we're starting to match Virginia on this list if you start looking, so don't look.
We're still holding it down.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
2 big names, 2 guys
No
that
doubt.
Pirate Nation is excited about, potential or hopeful leaders of this offense. What have you just kind of seen from them since they've showed up on campus?
Well, I think it's going to be one heck of a competition. I know that because they both can spin it.
Yeah.
Very athletic, smart. Smart football players. I think they're both driven.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch, and we're fortunate to have both of them.
Yeah.
Coach Baker and I, went into this knowing that we didn't want to get in a situation where you only had one guy. Raheem Jeter is still very young, and Cole obviously is going to be an incoming freshman. So you wanted some guys with some experience, but you wanted high competition in that room.
Right.
And so we were very upfront with everybody we talked to. Coach Baker, I mean, I couldn't keep up with him. I mean, from the day I hired him, he'd be in Michigan one day, Utah the next, Florida the next.
Burning the boats.
Yeah.
That's kind of caught flames, literally.
He literally went and would take these guys through an interview and just interview them because we wanted to make sure that we get the right characteristics.
Right.
You can look at their film and see their athletic ability.
Yeah.
But as we know, there's a lot more to being the quarterback than just athletic ability.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted the traits that you want as a leader, and strong character and football IQ. And so, I'm very pleased with Jake Garcia and Caden Hauser, and just those 2 guys being here with us, and I think that they've kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You can probably speak to that
Them
more
boys
than
some
I
winners,
can.
man.
So
They be in there working.
Yeah.
First in line, everything. First in the rack.
Doing it the right way.
Them boys some winners. I can't wait to see this competition.
yeah,
Tay, defensively, you're going to have some new guys on the field with you, transfers, some big-time DBs, linebackers, D-line coming into your room too. Kind of what's been your interaction with them, and who are you kind of excited to play along with?
Right now, I'm just really still figuring everybody out.
Yeah.
Everybody got good energy, so I love that.
Yeah.
But I'm ready. I'm ready to go with Jaden, my D tackle.
Yeah.
Ready to see him rock out in that purple and gold. Day from Mizzou, ready to see him rock. And then Gavin Gibson.
Yeah.
Them the 3 I'm ready to see this year.
Yeah. I think we for sure kind of brought some more competition to the secondary too.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, Siobhan's a stud.
No doubt.
IBM's great, and he's young and still growing as a
Yep.
player. But kind of if you want to hit on bringing the guys in the DB room to kind of spark that competition a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got 2 of them, and Tay mentioned Gavin, and then you got Andrew Wilson Lamp from West Virginia. So you bring in 2 guys that they have good size. Drew has tremendous length. Both of them run very well. So I think that obviously they'll bring competition to that room, but there's already a lot of competition in that room.
Right.
And you mentioned some of the defensive guys. Now the one thing about the defensive guys coming in is until they line up, put pads on, and go out there and compete, we'll see how competitive they're going to be with our returning players.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I think the players do pride pride ourselves in this is that we're a hard-nosed, tough, physical bunch.
Definitely.
And so that's kind of the what we hang our hat on defensively.
Thanks.
And so if they can come in there and they can match that energy and that physicality and that high level of competition, then they're going to be great assets for us.
Yeah. And starting talking about that, kind of what we are on defense and our identity, being that tough physical bunch, you said a lot of it starts with mental toughness.
Yeah.
And that's starting here soon with mat drills. Personally, I was a fan of them. Obviously, they sucked physically. It's going to be hard.
That's because you're psychotic.
That's where you find out who's really going to ride with you when it gets real. Who's in there?
Yeah.
You got to make yourself do hard things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got to do stuff you don't want to do.
It's not easy on game day.
Definitely.
And that's the part, mat drills be the part that suck. The summer running, all that be the part that suck, but that be the part that bring everybody closer.
And that's where you find out, who's really in it, who's going to be in the trenches.
Who's going
with
to give
you.
up and who's going to fight.
Coach Tesh always talks about that, who's in the
Yes.
foxhole. That's a big part of winter. And then we've talked a little bit about spring before the show. What are some winter and spring goals? Tay, you could talk maybe individually for yourself and collectively as a unit or team, and then coach what you want to see from the guys.
Shoot, I just want to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
I ain't never trying to repeat what we went through last year.
Right.
That really hurt my soul.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get everybody on the same page and just ball, figure out what we got and move from there.
And once we start spring with the walkthroughs and kind of introducing the defense to the guys, what are you looking forward to in spring ball, spring games, stuff like that coming up?
I want to compete.
Yeah.
Spring, then Coach JDB, he said he coming out hot, so we going to see. We really going to burn
Ready
them
to see
boats.
that
It's going to be interesting now.
He was talking trash first day he stepped on campus.
We'll see who's burning
It's
the
time.
boats.
It's close.
Yeah. Coach, what are you looking forward to and kind of some winter and spring goals from your
I
perspective?
think the number one Tay already hit on, and that's, we got to, try to bring everybody together, get everybody on the same page. And that's, as we talked before, we're doing more football outside of spring practice and fall camp. We're doing more football this year than we've ever done before. And, to try to make sure everybody, hits the ground running. But, I'm really excited about not just the quarterbacks, but, everybody that we have right now on offense.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the playmakers that we have returning. I'm excited about the playmakers we brought in. I want to see our offense really come in hot this spring. I mean, really mesh together this spring, and what I think it's going to create throughout spring practice, I would say especially after we get to the second half of spring practice, is I would say there's going to be some pretty heated days out there on the field. That'll be good for
once
both
you get
sides.
the install in both
Yeah, no
ways,
doubt.
and Coach Harrell could start dialing up
start
his
dialing
chaos.
up. It's over.
Coach JDB now could start dialing his
Oh,
up.
those two
can't
those
wait.
two talking. I mean, that's
I can't wait.
it's going to be a pretty good match.
It's going to be fun there.
No calling the dogs off, none of that. Call it fair, Coach. Call it fair. I'm telling you now.
Sacks or sack.
Yes. I need it.
Another thing we do on this show that's kind of away from football is it's called the Mascot Challenge. We talk about our high school mascots. Dinwiddie, the county, what
We the
mascot?
generals, bro.
The generals.
So don't play stupid.
So you're just like an army general with the
Yes.
gun over there?
Handling stuff, though.
All right. Coach, what was your mascot?
we were the Panthers.
Panthers.
So, I mean, it's an agile,
This is a good matchup because
an agile, muscular,
It's over
fast.
usually I put it in like a Hunger Games type arena.
Yeah.
And the panther could that's its habitat almost, getting a
you're
tree.
you're not even going to know where the
A
panther
general-
is. The panther's going to jump you.
A general-
And you don't even know it.
Think about what all a general has.
It depends what kind of gun the general
The
has.
general-
If he's
first
got
of all,
like
you
an
gotta have
old
a
musket or
mindset.
something, that
Yeah.
panther's getting on the neck.
You gotta have a mindset. Now we're an older general. I mean, like a newer general. Like,
Oh, a new one. So you
you gotta go along
You
with
got
time.
the AR.
So whatever in the world we got, we move with the year.
that'd be a good matchup. So you're saying generals
Yes,
are gonna swipe it. Coach, you're
I
saying
told you.
Panthers too
Panthers.
agile,
It's
Oh, yeah.
over.
hostile, agile,
Stealthy.
mobile.
One shot.
Stealthy.
I don't know what I'd
It's
go
over.
with. I think if the panther could get like in a tree and be nice and
If-
stealth, I think I'd take it. Depends on the
All right, so
habitat.
what's the scenario? We starting like face to face.
No, it's
No, I
like
think you're out in the wild.
Hunger Games. You're in arena in the wild,
Exactly.
different sides of the map.
Right.
No food or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
you got no
first to
shot.
survival of the
hunt, bro.
fittest.
My mascot, he's handling the panther.
Well, whoever's listening to this podcast, you could comment what you think about this. Get
General.
some fan interaction here. Our next subject, Coach, this one's not going to be too enjoyable for you. Big Tay came on the podcast a couple weeks ago, said he was waiting for a response other than just a couple of emojis.
Yeah, no Cowboys.
It was a rough playoff. That was tough.
On Sundays and stuff, like before the meetings would start, before everyone would get in there, they'd have red zone on the screen and stuff. And one of the days the Browns beat the 49ers and just the whole team let me know about it.
On your head,
and I said, we're going to be all right. Like, it's fine. Like, Trent was out, Debo was out. Coach Houston ran into you guys in the national spotlight, 49ers, Cowboys, took care of that one, but you still had faith at that point. Like, is it hurting your heart anymore, or do you expect the playoff crumble every year?
I'm starting to doubt.
Yeah. So you were optimistic.
I was optimistic this year. We had such a strong regular season. Dak had a solid.
He was going to be the
season.
MVP. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Jones has his hands in the pot a little too much.
I don't know.
You got to let the coaches coach at some point.
Facts.
What do you think about the Super Bowl this weekend?
Defense winning championships.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then I like it.
Defense and quarterbacks. I mean, how are you going against Pat Mahomes?
That's the only thing, though.
I like your Niners
Yeah.
a lot. I like the strong run game, strong defense. But, I mean, at this point, Pat Mahomes has proven himself to be a big-time player in big-time games.
Absolutely, and I'm 100% with you. Like, I'm a little nervous, obviously, because now Pat Mahomes is not the GOAT. Tom Brady's the GOAT. But he has entered himself in a conversation in the future. Like, if he keeps this up, then it's going to be fair game.
I mean, you start talking about all-time quarterbacks. If he wins the Super Bowl again this year,
he's got to be in the conversation.
Three in however many years.
Right.
But
and Andy Reid, I mean,
can't
genius.
take credit for him.
Yeah,
Right.
From the Eagles to where he is now, it's never stopped. Like, as long as we've been alive, he's been coaching greats and taking them there. Yeah.
Do you think the Niners can keep it competitive?
Come on, coach. You know Kansas
They're
City's
gonna
run.
have to- if you can't
Kansas
stop
City's
the
run
run, though-
defense isn't like that.
Yeah,
Christian
that's what I'm
McCaffrey's
saying.
going to tote rock, and then if they overcompensate on that, you know Shanahan's little wicked mind on the offense. I'm hoping to see some out of it with JDB, like Debo, JVS Bond, like fly sweep, boom.
Do you know who was in them 2 8 gaps though?
Who?
Big Chris Jones.
Yeah, what? Trent Williams pulling.
No,
Grab.
Trent Williams got to worry about who on that outside.
No.
He got to worry about Greenlaw. I mean, I'm tripping.
Yeah, now you're
Trent Williams
starting.
got to worry about
You're starting to think
who is
about
it?
our offense.
What's his last name?
Did you see
Gary?
Did you see George Kittle bury Aiden Hutchinson, our tight end?
Yeah, that happens though.
We're gonna hold it down.
I'll tell you, you got lucky to get out of that game.
Yeah.
George Kittle, real
The
though.
Lions had you guys dead to rights.
So what do you think about?
So he trying to compare the Lions game to.
I mean, it's
we
two
come
different
up-
games. though.
It's 2 different games. I get it. Yeah, it
I'm
is.
making sure.
Okay.
Coach, what do you think about Dan Campbell's kind of I don't know what you call it, decision to go for it, if you will, but like how I take it is that's their mindset. That's what got them there in a
Right.
certain kind of way. I say like, and it for sure fires your guys up.
Yep.
So I say like, screw it, like let's ride.
I also think he knew, listen, the 49ers probably have the better team.
Right.
We're not going to win this ball game kicking field goals.
Yeah, you gotta
I think
take
that
the
probably
shot.
had to be, I'm trying to win this ball game right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have a one shot at winning a Super Bowl in Detroit, and
Yeah.
I'm going to go all in. I mean, I think that's probably what his mindset was.
Yeah. I love Dan Campbell.
Oh, no doubt.
Remember halfway through the season when I sent you his caffeine video
Yeah.
about what he comes into the office with?
What is it? We're
It's
going.
2 venti, which is the large cups of Starbucks coffee, just black, and then he adds 2 espresso shots in each of them. And then he does it in an interview. He's like, dun-dun, dun-dun. It's really funny. But so he rolls in with like
Jacked up.
6, 7 shots of espresso, just like fired up. Like there's no way it could be good for you.
No.
But I was looking at Coach one day, and I was like, Coach, you ever get tired? Like, that's what Dan Campbell
There you go.
does.
Well, but just his core values and beliefs,
Yeah.
and what he has built that team on,
Similar to us.
no doubt. I mean, we've got a team meeting tomorrow that we're going to talk about some of that stuff, and there's going to be some little Dan Campbell stuff in
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's Coach Big John and I've been talking about, just kind of laying out, kind of just what we're looking to do this spring.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting back to our core stuff of what kind of team we want to be. And again, it's not. I'm just the coach. And
Yeah.
although I have influence, the players. What kind of team do we want to be? I mean, I think that's what what the focus for the spring's got to be.
Yeah, because you can instill everything you want, but it's going to be up to the players that carry it every day and enforce it upon each other.
You guys know. I mean, our program is player led.
Right.
I mean, we've got that in place now, and so that's why I said, how do you acclimate the new guys in? Well, it's going to be the players in that locker room, the players in those workouts, and their leadership.
Yeah. So Big Ted, you can look up Dan Campbell's opening speech when he got hired. He says, "Oh, you knock us down, we're going to come up, take a chunk out of the kneecap. You knock us down again. Okay, there goes the other one." So you can use that for coming back this year. Last year, all the teams that knocked us down, guess what? We're coming back. Kneecaps.
That get back.
Yes, definitely.
Are they still going to allow you guys to stay in the NFL?
Yeah, the Commanders, Big Ted.
What did this become like?
Well, we're talking NFL. Coach got some shade thrown at him with the Cowboys.
Hey, first,
you tried to throw a little bit at me.
Decide what your name is, okay?
Yeah.
Just please decide.
Get him, Coach.
You know the name change happened with all that 2020 stuff happened.
Yeah, but then you had another name change. I mean,
the Washington football team, and then the Commanders. Yeah. And the Commanders still aren't good. Honestly, this is Dinwiddie. This is Commanders. This is everything you got. You are a commander at heart for everything, I guess. And you guys are sorry.
Pirate now, though.
Well, yeah, you're always a pirate for life. But as a fan, you're a Commanders fan.
We ready to get right.
No, because last time you came on this podcast, you said, I'm not going to be the guy saying next year's our year, but we're going to figure it out.
Exactly.
No, you're not.
Who said it was going to be next year?
You just got what? Dan Quinn is the Cowboys DC, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look where he came from. Yeah, change, crumble in the playoffs. No. That's who you got.
I'm not hearing
Okay, who's your quarterback?
Sam Howell right now.
Right now. Yeah, just stay down. And
all right, next.
You just better hope both teams have fun in the Super Bowl. You got no skin in the game.
You probably need to try to go back to the Redskins.
Yeah.
The Redskins.
If that can happen, then yeah.
You need to go find yourself a Sean Taylor-like.
That's the thing.
No
like,
go get someone like that.
Sean Taylor different, though. Like,
rest in peace. Go.
Different.
Remember when he laid out a punter in the Pro Bowl?
Yes. I just seen that clip.
Now we got them playing tic-tac-toe. Like, what are we doing? Like, my view on that, I'm passionate about this. Like, Pro Bowl used to be a fun game where you could turn it on and, like, watch that kind of stuff. Now you're watching them play flag football. It's a horrible look for the sport. Like, if you don't want to be an older player that could risk getting injured for a game that potentially doesn't matter, I understand that part. But why don't you put an incentive, put some money in the game, and say if the old vet doesn't want to go, you go get someone young and exciting, have Sauce Gardner lining up with Zay Flowers out there. People want to see that.
Great word, yeah.
Well, I guess they're on the same side, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like they need to fix that too.
Pick captains, though, that'd be tough.
I might just run for NCAA commissioner and Pro Bowl commissioner this next year. Implement my own rules. We could get some views for that. Coach, as the outro, one thing we typically do, this might be a little out of your comfort zone, I'm not going to lie to you. We usually have the player act as a coach, giving some kind of words of wisdom or an example. Shane doing it with Big John last week went pretty well. You've done Coach Tesh.
Mm-hmm.
It says Coach Tesh. We want your best impression of Coach Tesh if you're talking to his position group. But if you'd like to pick another coach, you're more than welcome to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's
kind
tough.
It's kind of the rite of passage that players, mimic their coaches, right? That's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah.
So I figured you were going to have Tay do a Coach Houston something.
Nah, let's do a Coach Houston, do a Tay.
we can do a vice versa.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you got for
Coach Houston.
You could do Coach Houston or Coach Harrell.
I'm going Coach Houston. So he walk into me. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Fantastic.
Yes.
It's either fantastic or phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
So
he points to the boy like, I got some Inky for you. It's either Inky or
Goggins.
Yes, David Goggins. Either one of them.
Hey, Shep shows up a lot too.
Yes.
Yeah, Shep. Yeah.
Shep's great. Love when he comes talk.
He
to
love
us.
Inky though. We've been slacking on Inky.
Well, I know it gets old with the same guy, so I've been giving Inky some time.
Yeah,
He's got some fresh content out too. So
Coach loads it up. I remember before the season started, you had all the links already, like your iPad, like you just save them.
Yeah, when I see something I think that will fit some part of the season, I save it.
Sometimes
Bring it back later.
better moods, sometimes worse moods, depends on the subject that we're taking care of that day in the team meeting. But then you'll click the button, the projector thing goes up, and it's like you got the list of things on the whiteboard to talk about.
Already there, though.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I hope this is going to be good.
That depends on how we did the day before,
Right.
especially preseason camp. You know, preseason camp's always
Those are tough.
We fight.
yeah.
Like-
Like if the offense dominates the day before,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm probably in a sour mood. I'm getting after the defense in a team meeting.
Yeah.
Poking the bear. 'Cause I know if I poke them enough,
Yeah.
then they'll respond that day.
And in camp, it's like first day, everyone shows up with
believe you just
energy.
said
The
that.
helmets are back on. You're starting to get back into football season. By day 4, it's like almost zombies.
Yeah.
But then you get a scrimmage day. And I
Then it's
remember
like-
last camp
yes.
scrimmage day, we turned on some like young boy or something, and coach has no idea what that is. And he walks in the team meeting, and the whole team is like rapping bar for bar the song. And coach was like, oh, today's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Like the energy was there.
He just
And-
stood there to do. He let us say. That's how I knew it was gonna be.
He
a
let
good
it
day.
ride out a little
ride
bit,
out.
and that was probably one of the better scrimmages we had that camp. But that's all you got for Coach Houston invitation.
Yeah.
You got any other coaches up your sleeve? Shane
How'd he
did an
get Tesh?
incredible Big John. So
Oh, he was dead on with Big
Yeah.
John.
I don't think I could beat that.
hey, get your ass
I
to the
don't
weight
know.
room.
I don't know if we're excitable enough to be Coach Harrell coming into a defensive side of the ball meeting
On a Friday
the
night
thing
in a
is-
hotel.
on a Friday night in
Yeah.
the hotel.
Coach
It's
Harold
like a
really be
dance
letting us
club.
lead though, so you know how that go.
Yeah.
Like defense and me, we led by each other.
Yeah, that is true.
He just giving the rundown of the week.
So I wonder how I'm interested to see JDB side of the ball offensive team meeting.
Me too.
That's gonna be interesting.
We might
See if
need
he
to do a
has a turn.
separate like segment, like a little YouTube segment where you come in with Thomas and we videotape each one. Because I've already talked about it plenty, but the Friday night unit meetings in the hotel.
We be
So we break from the
Too
team
lit.
meeting where we go over special teams briefly, break from the team meeting, go into sides of the ball. So offense will stay in there usually. Defense will go in like another ballroom in our hotel. And the moment you walk out of the team meeting room, you just hear just music blasting. And like the poor people like in the lobby or in the floor above us.
I really appreciate the people at the Hilton.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Hilton because they let it turn into almost a war zone in there. It's just like people
Turn.
standing on chairs. Like it's some of the most fun memories that I think I for sure will carry. And I think once you're done, you'll carry.
Right.
Facts.
Like you don't always remember everything, but like moments like that, like you've got like Coach Harold, Coach Dallas tries to come up and like do something that's a little out of his character. And we're like, come on, Coach, like that's not you. Like stick to your plan. But just like out there rapping, having fun
Exciting
just
to
with the
look to.
guys, having the energy. So
facts.
that's all we got for today. That is episode 4 now of the Ship's Log. Thank you, Coach Houston, for taking time out of your
Appreciate
day.
you guys.
Big Tay, as
Yeah.
always, great podcast. Looking forward to having you next time. As always, your host here, Jack Powers, signing off. See you next time.